Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. Once again, this is the
Sup?
RT Sports Show. One more time, we're here live. This is Omar Pickett. I'm here with my main man, Trenton. And today is a special day. Trent, why is this a special day?
It's time for the madness.
Today is
It's
the
time for
March Madness show. So we are excited, man. This is going to be real fun. We got a lot of topics we want to go into. And so we're really excited to get started. So once again, if you see this, thank you all so much for being a part. Like, comment, share. We're going to go a deep dive into March Madness. We're going to talk about the men's and the women's, who got snubbed, who's our sleepers, who's our national champions. We're also going to talk some free agency and a lot of other good topics as well. So we're excited. Thank you all, each and every one of you that's been a part of this journey. This is episode 4 of the OT Sports Show, March Madness edition. So we're real glad to see everybody. Thank you all so much for being a part. This is going to be a great episode. Trey, are you ready?
I think so.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if it's just you or me, but I don't know. It just seems like March Madness just really snuck up on us. And this is a crazy year. This is not the dominant year, you know. Usually you run to March Madness, you got this one dominant team that, you know, can really beat anybody and everybody, and it's them and the field. That's not it. This field is wild.
And you know what's interesting? You know, even if it's not like that with the fellas, with the men, a lot of times it's like that with the women, you know, because you always had that UConn team or that Tennessee team that was always like the 1-loss or 2-loss team going in, or even undefeated. But this year,
this UConn versus
it's
UConn
not like that. every team has three losses or so. You know, there's really no like definite standout on a lot of and it shocked me. I was just like, wow. When I was looking through, I was just like, man. I mean, it's real, and I really think March Madness is going to live up to its name this year. I really think there's going to be a lot of upsets on both, like in both leagues. It's going to be madness.
This might be the best March Madness we've run into. This might be upset city. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, we got our brackets, we got our picks, but you know, would I be shocked if a 5, 6, 7, 8 seed won the national championship?
Not at all.
Not this year.
Not at
because
all.
There's no dominant team. Transfers and stuff like that has made things really interesting. So let's get into it. So we all know the brackets were revealed. And, you know, we've got our ideas of who's going to win. And we saw the field, all 68 teams. Some teams have already played. Some are even playing right now in the first 4. But what I want to talk to you all about first and foremost is who got snubbed. Some people felt like they should got in. Some people got in. Maybe we question whether or not they should get in. So before we get into our breakdown of who we think is going to win it all, who our sleepers are, let's talk about who should have been in the field. So, Trent, I'm going to start with you. Did you see any notable snubs, anybody that should have been in the field that didn't get there?
I'm going to be honest with you. Not really. I mean, I think you could argue, but there was no team that I looked at that I said, oh yeah, once I examined it and really looked at it, their resumes, there was no team I definitely said, oh, this team should have definitely been in. Like, because when you take somebody off, you know, when you put somebody on, you got to take somebody off as well. Mm-hmm. So looking at it from that standpoint, yeah, I think you arguably could do it, but no definite. I just didn't see a definite team that deserved it over someone else.
I know, in my opinion, I think there were some snubs, but I'm going to be honest with you. One of the great things that separates March Madness from, let's say, the college football playoff, we can watch the college football playoff and we'll see a team that's ranked number 5 or that maybe should have been 4th or should have been 3rd get left out. And there's a legit gripe because that team maybe could have won a national championship. But we're talking about literally the 68th and 69th best team. Yeah. You know, the 70th best team. So are their resumes going to be great? No. You know,
not at all.
Could they have won more games? Yes. So the gripes
should have.
should have in some of these cases. So the gripes on this side, you know, aren't going to be quite as big and not going to be quite as massive as the gripes on the other side, on the gripes of the college football playoff, where you really have a shot to win a national championship. These cats we're going to talk about really aren't a national championship team. But I want to bring up something that I felt like was a snub and maybe should have been considered. I want to show you all a resume. Trent, I'm going to show you these two resumes. Tell me who you think has the better resume right here between these two teams. You have one that's a 23-12 record, 12-10 in conference, 3-4 record against the top 25, and their best win was a neutral field versus the number 4 team. The number B team is 17-4, has an 11-10 conference record, went 2-7 against the top 25, and their best win was a home win against the number 3 team. Who has the better resume?
Oh, definitely the one on the left.
Okay. So the one on the left is not in the tournament. That's Texas A&M. And the one on the right is the 11 seed Michigan Wolverines. They're in the tournament. Securely in the tournament. So, yeah. I mean, I recognize eye test sometimes plays a role, and I think that happens a lot. You know, they like go, well, we don't like the way this team looks, but what does the resume say? What does it say when you look at what these people have actually accomplished? You know, 3-4 in the top 25, and they played in the SEC. The SEC was pretty tough this year. Yeah, you had Kentucky, you had Tennessee, you had Arkansas, and you have, you know, a Texas A&M team that fared pretty well. Had a neutral field win against Auburn, who's a number 2 seed in the Big Dance. But then you have a Michigan team. You got, you know, coach going ECW on people, you know, missing games up here, but they're still in the tournament as an 11 seed. They weren't even like the last 4 in. So, you know, really confusing.
And you said team A is Texas A&M, right?
Texas A&M, yes.
Okay.
Left out of the dance.
My thing,
team B is 11 seed.
What I found with Texas A&M is just simply that rough stretch of 1-10 is that I think that's what doomed them. That was ugly. Like, to lose 9 straight, I really think that's probably what I
mean, people run into rough stretches, and like I said, there's things on their resume that they could have improved. We're talking about the 68th, 69th best team. Their net ratings had them in the high 40s. So I really do believe that, I mean, is this a team that was going to make the Final Four? No. Was it a team that was playing its best down the stretch? Yes. And I think that should be something that's considered, especially when you compare them to another team like Indiana, who has a very similar resume to them, but actually has worse losses than Texas A&M. College basketball no longer uses RPI. We're used to that. But now they use something that's called quadrant 1 wins and quadrant 2 wins. I think of them as good losses, good wins, good teams and bad teams. How'd you do against them? Texas A&M had less bad losses than Indiana, and yet Indiana is in the field. I feel like the committee, decided, they said, what we do with the SEC in football, let's do it with the Big Ten in basketball. And they got 9 teams in the dance when I'm not sure they were that much better than the Big 12 or the SEC, who were right there. And the interesting thing with Oklahoma, I'm going to bring up Oklahoma too as well. I didn't want to go too much because at the end of the day, they had a lot of losses at the end of the day. But I'm going to be honest with you about Oklahoma. Their schedule was incredibly crazy. Think about this. Yeah, they had 18-15 record, 19-15 when you consider the conference tournament. But they had 5 wins against teams that were ranked in the top 15.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you heard of a team having 5 top 15 wins and still getting left out of the tournament? They had too many losses. But look at what they're playing. They're playing a top 10 ranked Baylor. Then next week, a top 10 ranked Kansas. Then next, the next Auburn. Then next Arkansas when they were highly ranked. Then next highly ranked Iowa State. You know, it was always another thing. And with it being a smaller conference, there's not that many cupcakes that can go around. So I can see why Oklahoma lost more games. And like I said, they should have won more. They probably shouldn't have lost to Butler at the beginning of the season. But to me, the biggest snub is Texas A&M. I felt like their record and resume was better, especially when you consider Michigan's coaches going AEW on, going WWE on another coach basically in the season. I would have switched.
I just think they punished. I think they punished for whatever reason. I feel like they punished people for those rough stretches. Like if you had an extended amount of time that you were losing, because I even looked at Oklahoma, they had like they had 2 4 game losing streaks. But then when you turn around, when I look at Team B, Michigan, they were pretty much consistent. They lost here, they won there, I don't know. I get it though. It's arguably. I get it, but I just can't. I just don't look at it and just say.
I would also say look at how many ranked teams they played. I think Oklahoma played almost 10 or 11 ranked teams, and so you're going to have more losses when you play more good teams. But they should have won more games at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what I think. That's why I think it's snub. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain that bad about the field at the end of the day. I just think at the end of the day, we're going to end up with, a crazy field, and maybe these guys could have won games or not, but hey, you got to win more at the end of the day. And that's what matters. You can't lose 9 games in a row, basically.
Another one for arguing's sake, I would even point out, I don't know if you were going to, is Notre Dame. I look at theirs, their schedule. They really only played one ranked team.
Exactly.
One, and that was Kentucky. They beat them, but they didn't have another real quality win, other than if you want to call North Carolina. Other than that, it's hard for me to punish them for that. You know what I mean? They still won the games that they played. And they played against, ACC teams, and they had some other teams. And they played games against, you still had Duke. You still had, they lost against Duke. They lost against Wake Forest, who's not bad. I get it. I understand why someone would argue it. But I just don't, to me, it's just not an obvious, it's not an obvious, crime. I don't call it an obvious crime.
I do, but we'll just disagree. I'm just saying I think the numbers speak for themselves. At least in the case of Texas A&M. I'm looking at the resume. I think the resume matters. But let's get into the actual tournament and stop worrying about the teams that aren't in. Let's get into we get into the tournament. The best part about March Madness isn't just the games. It's the Cinderellas. It's the sleepers. It's the upsets. So before we go ahead and get started and get into who we have winning it all, who we have in our Final Four, let's talk about who we have as our potential sleepers. Now, Trent, you did a bracket. I did a bracket. And of course, if you all are watching, we know that we have our special going on, that if you come and join in with us, if you like our page, either on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, like our page on Facebook, join in our bracket. We have a $100 giveaway to whoever wins the bracket challenge that starts tomorrow. So you can see our brackets and who we have. But Trent, let's start with you. Who do you have as the sleeper team this season? Who do you have as a sleeper in this year's NCAA tournament, or sleepers?
I like those fighting pennies, as you call them. I like Memphis. I got Memphis going to my Sweet 16. No, excuse me, Elite 8. Elite 8. I got Memphis making my Elite 8.
The Fighting Penny Hardaways in the Elite 8. Wow.
Oh yes.
So that means you'd have them beating Gonzaga in the second round.
Yes, sir. Second round. Down them. Athleticism.
Okay.
Urban youth.
Okay. We're not going anywhere with those codes. I got what you're saying. But yeah, so I like your idea. I like what you're going with, Trenton. I think Memphis, I do think when I look at how they played down the stretch, they have another really bad stretch to the point where, Penny Hardaway had to lash out at the media regarding, how their treatment of the team. But ever since then, they really turned it around.
It was circumstantial, though. That's why he was pissed, because it was really circumstantial. It wasn't the whole complete team. And and the media knew it.
I don't think Terrence is a believer in Memphis. But let me tell you this. Memphis has won 12 or 14. They did beat Houston twice down the stretch, and they're not devoid of talent. They were a preseason ranked team. So I think if Memphis gets to that second round, they will be a tough out for Gonzaga.
And they're
It wouldn't
young,
shock me.
and they're young. They may be too young to get scared. And I think it's something, like you said, since when their coach lashed out, it's something about somebody standing up for you, your coach standing up for you. You see him getting fiery like that. I know that ignited the squad. I just know it did. So,
I mean,
I'm excited to see what
I'm
happens.
just glad they turned it around. I'm glad they made the dance. The Boise State game is going to be interesting. And the thing that's interesting is that Boise State's head coach was Gonzaga's assistant. So you'll see a lot of similar things with those teams. So how they play really against Boise State will tell me a lot about how they do against Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga is like the boss level of what Boise State can do. But so that's not going to be a gimme. I just like the fact that, I think there's going to be a lot of minefields. I got a couple ones that's really interesting. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits that are 30-4 overall, that went 18-0 in their mid-major conference. Maybe I went to Davidson, and at Davidson, I remember when we went 18-0 in our conference, and people still didn't believe in us. When you go 30-4 and you've won 21 straight games, you can play. And I have a lot of confidence in this team. They're the best three-point shooting team in the country, and they play Providence in the first round. Yep. I'm smelling upset. I'm picking South Dakota State. Not only do I have them winning that game, I have them in the Sweet 16. So that lets me know I really think highly of them and their ability to win games. So that's one. Also, I'm letting everybody know now, people who know me, I'm not a Carolina fan at all. I am not a UNC fan. I've got Carolina. I've got Carolina in the Sweet 16, and I will probably change my bracket to have them in the Elite Eight. I do. I have them beating.
But you say they defeat the defending champs.
Yes, whose leading scorer is not going to play because he's hurt. Yes.
Okay.
I've got them beating Baylor in the first weekend. Yes. Carolina's problem is never athleticism. They will match up well athlete for athlete against Baylor. And with Baylor's leading scorer not playing, I like their chances of being able to pull that first round upset. Baylor's very good, but they're not invincible. So, yeah, I like UNC making a deep run in the tournament. I've got to go with Davidson as well. I think Davidson – this is the best Davidson team since 2008.
He went to Davidson, y'all. He went to Davidson.
Yes. So I got to share this with you. I've been saying since really about midway through the season that this was the best Davidson team that I've seen since 2008. And 2008 was the year that, I was on the sideline with them and we went to the Elite Eight with Steph Curry. And I said this was the best team since then. They're not better than the 08 team. They don't have Steph Curry on that squad. And they don't have Omar Pickett on that squad too. So they're not as good as that squad. But they're very good and the best team since then. Then they turned around and made Davidson a 10 seed. Davidson was a 10 seed when they made the Elite Eight in 2008. Then they're playing a game in the North Carolina area. We played our second round game in Raleigh back in 2008. This got 2008 vibes written all over it. Michigan State is playing basically a road game against Davidson in the first round. I'm liking the upset there. I'm liking Davidson to beat them. And this is not a great Duke team. I've been thinking for the last 2 months this team will not make the Sweet 16. Yeah. We've been wanting to get Duke so bad. I'm speaking now from Davidson. We've been wanting to beat Duke so bad. How sweet it would be for Coach McKillop to be the one to end Coach K's career. I'm picking the upset. I'm picking Davidson to beat Coach K and get the Wildcats to the Sweet 16. They won't beat Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. They'll lose that game, but I like Davidson as my sleeper pick, along with South Dakota State. And, there's some other good teams too. I know Loyola Chicago as a 10 seed. We remember what they did. They went to the Final Four a couple years back. They're a veteran team. They play an Ohio State team that was up and down. I see an upset potentially happening there. Murray State at 30-2 is going to be a monster. Man, the Fighting Ja Morant against Kentucky would be a very much that would be a fun game.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be a fun game. And don't call me crazy. I like Murray State in that game, to be honest with you. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's my sleepers, man. I'm going with one more. Vermont. I'm going with Vermont against Arkansas as well. I'm picking a couple of 13 seeds. Got to go for the upsets, man. I mean, I highly doubt. I would be shocked if the first rounds really go chalk. I just don't see it. I see a lot of upsets happening, and I think Vermont, I think South Dakota State, and I think Davidson are going to be amongst those big upsetters. And I think UNC keeps it going. And I don't mind the Memphis pick. I really don't. They've got the talent to play with Gonzaga. So let's see what happens. What you think, Trent?
I think so too. I noticed some things from Arkansas. They've struggled at times. This season. So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't be too shocking. Like we said, the madness is gonna be on an all-time high this year. So we're gonna see what happens. So it wouldn't shock me at all.
With that being said, I feel like we've got to, at this point, give our final four predictions. We're going to go ahead and start with you, Trenton. Tell the fans, let everybody know, lock it in. You may end up doing 20 brackets, but who are your main final four picks? Let us have it, Trenton. Go ahead.
I think Baylor, even though they're losing, they lost their top scorer, I think they found a way to get it done. I think the fact that they've been there before, it's going to help them. Baylor, I think Texas Tech, Arizona, who's been just completely solid the whole season with a couple of trip ups. I think they're going to be there. And I'm going to say Providence. I think Providence, even though Providence ended up losing out on their, even though they ended up losing and getting out of their conference tournament. I think they rebound. They come back with vengeance and make a real good push in the tournament.
Oh, okay. So you've got Texas Tech, you've got Baylor, you've got Arizona, and you've got a Providence team that I've got losing in the first round to South Dakota State. So we're going to find out how this is going real quick, real early. Which is really interesting.
It's going to be very funny.
It's going to be very funny, yeah, but we're going to get started. So that's your final four. I like it for the most part, Trent, but who's your national champion?
I say the repeat. I am calling it now. I'm calling a repeat. A repeater. I'm saying Baylor over Arizona.
I mean, let me tell you this. Baylor is battle-tested. I mean, I really think the Big 12 was a murderer's row. I mean, you're talking Kansas, Texas Tech, Texas, Iowa State. All these teams were very, very good, and Baylor was right up there. So when they get to the tournament, they're going to know how to take on battles. So to me, the injury is what scares me. But if they can get past that first weekend, they're definitely dangerous, and they definitely have the ability to cut down the net. So I like the pick. I just got UNC beating them in round two, but if they get past UNC, we'll see what really happens from there. But I'm going to talk about now my final four picks, the bracket that you really should pay attention to. I'm playing. So let me go right here. So first and foremost, this year is crazy. I've never gone into a tournament with less confidence in the elite teams. So I really didn't pick the top elite teams. I have no 1 seeds in the Final Four at all. So my Final Four starts with Texas Tech. I love their defense and the way that they play. Even though their coach from last year left and went to Texas, they have not missed a beat. They're still playing Texas Tech basketball, and I see them getting out of that region. I think Gonzaga gets beat. Gets beat early, either by Boise State or by Memphis, and it opens the door really for Texas Tech to get through. I don't think Duke makes it to Texas Tech either. If Duke does, I still think Texas Tech would beat them, and I just like the way that they play. I think they're going to get through that first bracket. I like Purdue in the bracket with Baylor. I really think that battle between Purdue and Kentucky is going to be a war. If Kentucky gets past Murray State, to be honest with you. But I think that would be a war. But I very much like Purdue to come out through there. Because I got Baylor losing, I think that opens the door. I think Tennessee is playing is on a roll right now. And I think they are dangerous. I think that bracket, though, with Villanova and Arizona might be the toughest bracket in the entire
I think so too. That's what I was going to say.
And, don't be surprised if the Illini make a run too. I mean, man, I'm telling you, that bracket is tough, but I just like the way Tennessee is playing. So I could see Villanova getting out, but I'm sticking with Tennessee and then Auburn. I've liked them all season. I like them in the Midwest to come out of that bracket. So that's my Final Four: Texas Tech, Purdue, Tennessee, and Auburn. 3 seeds and a 2 seed, which leads to my national champion. And I promise Craig did not influence me on this. This is my actual pick. I'm taking Tennessee over Purdue in the national championship game. I'm taking Rocky Top, gets it done, cuts down the nets. They come into the tournament hot, and I think they finish the deal. What you think, Trent?
Hey, we'll see. We'll see.
I think they finish the deal. So I think this is going to be a fun tournament. And honestly, I think our brackets could be absolutely torn up by the time we get to the end of the first weekend.
Friday.
Thursday. Thursday at 4:00. Our brackets are already destroyed. Man. We just throw them all away.
Oh, well.
But yeah, if you're watching this, if you're seeing this now, if you're seeing this later, like I said, please take the opportunity to like, to subscribe, because we want to make sure that we're spreading, just going through our conversations with everyone. And let's see how your bracket turns out. You may think we're crazy. We're really going out on a limb on some of these picks. I can't wait to see kind of how it goes. And like I said, one more time, we do have that giveaway. If you go ahead, like our channel, subscribe to our channel, take the opportunity then to go ahead and fill out our brackets before March Madness begins tomorrow at 12:00. You'll be entered in for a chance to win $100 to the one who brings in the best bracket. So make sure you fill in. You've got about 15 more hours to go. So go ahead and be a part of that. We're really trying to give this money away. And our goal is just basically to spread our channel so that people can kind of learn really what we're doing. So now we've talked about the men's side. Let's talk about the women's side. Let's see what the women, what you have planned for the women. I know we want to give them love too. And I'm excited because I think their tournament's going to be fun as well. Trent, Tell us what you have in your women's Final Four.
I got Iowa, Baylor, Stanford, and UConn.
Now, we got to stop already. We need to stop already. Who's the first team you said?
Iowa.
Okay. I need you to explain that one. I need you to explain that one.
I
need you to explain that.
I will tell you.
Because you cannot. You took away Don Staley, and you don't have Don Staley.
I love Don.
We got to talk.
I love Don, but they're not. They're great defensively, and I get that. They're like number 4 defensively, I believe, team defense, but they're not in the top 50 on the offensive side of the game. And I think, ultimately, the point of the game is to put the ball in the hoop. And I get it, defense wins championships, but I'm telling you, Iowa has 2 players in the top 15 scoring. Do you hear me? They have the number 1 in Caitlin Clark and the number 13 in Monica. Excuse me, I want to say her name right. In Monica Sinano, I think is how you say it. Sinano. But the girl averages 21.1 points a game, and Clark averages 27.4. And I'm telling you, they bring it. When I tell you they bring it, they bring it. And they're going to be ready. Look, Clark is only a sophomore and was giving people 30 last year in the tournament. I'm telling you, they are coming. And I'm excited. When I was looking at it, I was like, man, this is going to be good. But I think it's Return of the Evil Empire, though. I'm looking at UConn, and I like them. I like them, and I get it. But I like UConn. I like them this year. I think they're one of the better teams when it comes to a mixture of their ability to play offense and defense. And they got 4 players that average double digits. I just like them. I like them.
Wow. I cannot. So you're going with your Final Four. I know I interrupted you because I was so upset about you having
Iowa, Baylor, UConn, Stanford.
Trent, if Iowa makes the Final Four,
my championship, huh?
Go ahead. If Iowa makes the Final Four, that's going to be quite the call. I'm gonna appreciate that. But go ahead. Who you got in your national championship?
Championship, Iowa, UConn.
Okay.
And I say Iowa wins it all.
Iowa women winning the national championship.
Win it all.
I think Trenton did his research at the Hawkeye Institute.
On the back of a sophomore.
Nah.
And a senior, and they got that. I'm telling y'all, they got that inside outside game. I'm telling y'all, watch it now, watch it. I'm
Okay.
calling it.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over my Final Four. I'm sticking with South Carolina. They have been the dominant team all season, if there has been one, and I'm not gonna fall short now and suddenly jump on Iowa. No, I'm sticking with South Carolina. I'm gonna stick with Baylor. I like I said, I like the culture that they've built. Stanford has also been there. Stanford, when I came into it and I was starting to make this, I had every intention of making Stanford my national champion. I had every intention of it at all. You know who they are. They're always going to be there. But my problem is would I trust them in a Final Four match against UConn? No. Would I want Stanford to win? Absolutely. I want new blood. I want that rise. But if UConn's in that Final Four, which is what I have, because I have NC State getting beat. I got NC State getting beat. I actually have Oklahoma making a run. That's not a homer pick. I'm serious. I'm taking them.
Oh, no. Oklahoma's nice. Look,
Oklahoma's
nice. I like them.
So I've got Oklahoma upsetting NC State in the Sweet 16, but I don't have them beating UConn in the Elite Eight. I think I got UConn coming out of that.
The issue is the young lady let's the name out, but they had a third scorer that was really very important in the beginning of the year. Oh, I crossed her name out. Her name is Anna. I don't know her name is Anna, but they had four guards and a forward, but one of them got hurt. So that's why they kind of drop off. But I think if she was healthy and they had those all four guards playing, three of them averaging over 17 plus points a game, they would have easily been in my I probably would have given them the edge and actually would have put them in the championship, to be honest. But
like I said, I think they'll make a run, but I like UConn at the end of the day. And then I want my national championship because I don't know if I can trust Stanford to beat UConn in the big time Final Four game. I'm going with South Carolina, UConn, the battle of the old empire, the new empire, and I'm sticking with Dawn Staley. I'm sticking with South Carolina and to them to get it done. Defensively, the way that they play, the way that she coaches, I think she's building the new juggernaut. UConn was the juggernaut. South Carolina is the new juggernaut. So I'm excited about what they're going to do. That's my pick. I'm sticking with South Carolina. Don't let it be a South Carolina, Iowa Elite Eight because Trent, we may have to wager some push-ups on the winner of that game. So we'll see what happens. So I'm pretty excited.
And the name of the young lady was Anna Lanusa. Lanusa. Yeah, she got her early in the season.
So like I said, this is our Final Four picks, our national champion. I got national champion South Carolina. You got national champion Iowa. And we've got the men's and women's. Take the time to watch both. I know there's going to be a lot of games. So that's why I think this weekend, Thursday to Sunday, is the best weekend in the entire year for sports. I mean, this is going to be – and then this kind of year with no real dominant teams, you're going to see upsets here, upsets there, upsets everywhere. I can't wait. So please take advantage. Really watch this thing. Go ahead.
I got another one. Another honorable mention is Ohio State. Ohio State's got a squad too. Ohio State arguably has the best backcourt in basketball with the women, with J.C. Sheldon and Taylor McKelsey. Y'all, when I tell y'all, they're like we said at the beginning, they were usually a dominant team that was one maybe undefeated or one loss. This year, people are losing. And I really believe there are some teams out there. If they get hot, they got some teams with some star talent that can put up points. Both they are the 26. There's only two teams that have more than one player in the top 50 in scoring, and that's Iowa and Ohio State. And I'm telling you, the girls can put up points in bunches, and they shoot it well. They're efficient. And I just think that that's dangerous. The reason why I don't have Ohio State up higher, they lack in the bigs department. They really don't have the inside outside game like Iowa got. It's more so jump shooters, and that's it. If they had another girl down in the post that's putting up 15 to double digits or whatever, I would have liked them more, but they don't have that. But hey, it might just be a guard lead. We'll see. It might be a guard showing, because if they get hot, hey, we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you like this. We about to let's get to the next topic. I know March Madness is going to be fun starting tomorrow, but there's been a lot of fireworks even over the last couple of days with some free agent news. So a lot's happened. We've got Von Miller. We've got Randy Gregory. We just got a message about Chris Godwin getting about 3 years, $60 million. But there was some guy who decided to unretire. What's his name, Trenton? I think it was like Thomas
Bomb Trady.
Okay, yeah. Tom Brady. Tom Brady decided one more time to come back and unretire. Decided to make it one more run, apparently with Tampa Bay. And so we got to start with this question. No, it wasn't that surprising. He still had the itch. He still wanted to play. My question is, based on everything that's happened so far, and obviously we've got a long way to go. Tom Brady returning, does it now make the Buccaneers the class of the NFC?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh,
I mean, it makes them for now. They're the class of the NFC South. And that's if I don't want to. If that's if another significant move doesn't happen,
which we're about to talk about.
Yeah, I think they're the class of the NFC South, but of the NFC, yeah, I don't. I'm just not. I don't think that they're. No, I don't think it does.
Okay. Who you still like? Is the Rams, the Packers?
It's gonna be interesting, but nah.
I'm actually gonna say yes. Not just because of Tampa Bay and Tom Brady coming back, but also because I'm looking at what other teams are losing. The Packers, are they even gonna have Devante Adams this year? It just sounds like if they don't pay him what he feels like he deserves, he's not gonna play. And what are the Packers gonna be without Devante Adams? It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers throwing to some folk from high school. I don't know.
The seven
then
doors.
You got, I don't know. They're going to have to find some people. There's people in Green Bay. Yeah, exactly. He's going to be throwing to the offensive linemen that the Packers keep drafting, since they won't draft in wide receiver help. So then on top of that, with the Rams, they just lost Von Miller to Buffalo.
Yeah.
They just lost Andrew Whitworth to retirement. When you lose a left tackle, that's huge.
Their offensive line wasn't that good as it was.
and now you're losing their left tackle. You're losing another pass rusher. Yeah, you still got Aaron Donald, but it's like everything's not going together as seems. Odell Beckham is going to be coming back from injury. Robert Woods is going to be coming back from injury. Yes, Cooper Kupp was great, but can Cooper Kupp run it back again like he did last year? So I think they're right there. And of course, there's a long way to go. We don't see who the Rams are going to sign, who they're going to go after. But as of right now, if I know Tom Brady's in Tampa Bay, then that means for the most part, probably everyone's going to try to come back. Everyone's going to try to run it one more time. And if everyone's going to try to run it one more time, I have more confidence in what Tampa Bay is going to do than what the Rams yet are going to do. I just got to see who they're going to sign. Losing Von Miller and Andrew Whitworth, hurts. And this was already nip and tuck. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see. So that's what I say. I think that I still think that obviously it's going to be close. Obviously the Rams are going to be competitive. But another thing to think about is Tom Brady really going to be able to continue to play at the high level he played at last year, where he led the league in touchdowns? You're asking a lot from a 74-year-old man to keep, going out there trying to play as hard as he can. So it's going to be real competitive. So I like the Bucs for now, but let's see what happens with the draft. Let's see what happens, free agency, and then we'll make our final selections. But as of right now, I like Tampa. Any last words, Trent?
We'll see.
I know Ryan in the crowd. I don't know how Ryan feels about that, man. Right now, I'm pretty sure he's still like, they still got the ring for now, but we'll see what happens. They'll probably add somebody. The Rams always find a way to make a splash somewhere. Then you got other teams in the AFC making splashes, but I kind of want to talk about. You talked about the NFC South and moves that could be made. We got to talk about Deshaun Watson. We've got to talk about Deshaun Watson. Hold on real quick. What did Ryan say? What did Ryan said? He said, okay, when big hit, nope, boom, held it down. Okay, so you feel confident basically in the next guy up. So, okay, that's interesting. I can't wait to kind of see how that goes. I just know Whitworth will probably be a Hall of Famer. So I know you did hold it down, but what's going to happen when he's the main guy? Definitely is going to be something worth asking and seeing. So, but something to keep in mind. Okay, and I know you follow the Rams real big, so you would know who that next guy is going to be. So, okay, all right, I'm excited. But let's talk about Deshaun Watson a little bit. As you all know, it appears they're finally going to make the move. They're finally going to let this guy go. They're finally going to let him go to another team.
Give us free.
And so, you've got the Panthers, who I feel like the Panthers got to do. You got the Falcons, you've got the Saints, you even heard about the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns are the new,
everybody. And so apparently, and this is what makes it really interesting, every team that Deshaun Watson is talking to right now is a team that Houston has virtually agreed in a trade with. So they're not talking just to kick the tires. They're talking because we've agreed to this trade, and now we're letting Deshaun Watson talk to you. Deshaun will let us know who he will waive it for, and then the trade will be official. It's like that. So, with that being said, I have to ask the question because it's going to be a controversial topic wherever we go. Whether he's in Miami, whether he's in Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, the question's going to be, should teams be selling out to go get Deshaun Watson? He's an amazing quarterback, but the questions are there. The situation's still there. The lawsuits are there. Trent, how do you feel about that? If you're an owner of a football team, are you going? If you're the Panthers, if you're the Falcons, if you're the Saints, if you're the Browns, are you going for Deshaun Watson?
I would have to talk to him. I would want to. I most definitely would want to, but I would even dare say that my mind is somewhat changed. Like, because I was a definite yes, get him, do it. But I actually was slaying people saying the contrary stuff. What are you talking about? But after thinking and reading and looking and I would want to talk to him and get it. Really about the vibe that I get from him as a person. Hearing his side and doing my due diligence in even my research and looking into the situation. But if I feel like he's a trustworthy person and he's okay, then yeah, I would. But I also personally wouldn't be found in the in the massage parlor or doing anything else crazy or having the illegitimate children or whatever you want to call it. So my point of view is based on me. You know what I mean? So I don't doubt that these guys are licking their chops, period, because they see a great player who's produced in the past, and they're gonna do whatever.
A player that you could argue was a top 3 player in his position. In fact, I remember, and I was serious when I said this. I felt like the year before, everything happened, I felt like Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback in football. I had him higher than Patrick Mahomes, and I tell you why, because Deshaun Watson was leading the league in passing and was the most efficient passer in Houston, who had nothing.
Don't say that. That's not true.
I'm talking about when they had nothing. Did they have a Tyreek Hill?
He had Cooks.
Who?
He had Brandon Cook.
Who?
Did he not?
Who?
And don't do him like that. No, Brandon Cook is nice. And then even
wasn't
Will Fuller still there? And wasn't Will Fuller still there?
Yeah, Will Fuller is there, but what we know
And he
about Will
actually
Fuller?
played.
What do we know
No,
about
no.
Will Fuller?
And they
We know
actually,
about Will Fuller.
both of them actually produced well for him. That's what I'm saying. They did well. Now, did he have what Mahomes has? No. But I'm not saying that he had chopped liver. It won't like what Cam was having to go through when Cam went 15-1. It wasn't like that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would you feel comfortable? Would you be comfortable with that Houston supporting cast as a capable starting wide receiver, a capable unit, if that was your football team?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
No, but what I'm just saying that they're not that they weren't that bad.
Well, if Deshaun Watson's throwing for 4,000 yards, somebody has to be getting those yards. You know what I'm saying? He's not throwing 4,000 yards to himself.
That's the point that I'm saying.
But what I'm telling you is that his supporting cast was nowhere near. His supporting cast was nowhere near. He didn't have a Tyreek Hill on this team. He didn't have a Travis Kelce on his team. He doesn't have a Mark Andrews on his team. He doesn't have that.
I wouldn't even dare say that both Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller have never been, the issue never has been talent with either one of them. The issue was always availability and injuries. They both always got hurt, but they just so happened to have, both of them actually happened to have a healthy season enough, and they both put up pretty good numbers.
Brandon Cooks has been on how many teams at this point?
A lot.
Okay. Will Fuller was in Miami this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd he do?
He didn't do it, but he didn't.
I'm trying to tell you, give Deshaun Watson his flowers. Deshaun Watson got it done. And the fact that what he was able to do with what he had is exactly why I looked at him and I thought, that guy you could argue is the best quarterback in football. And I know most people would say Mahomes, and Emmanuel Acho apparently will pick everybody else but somebody black, but we'll just leave that alone. Sam Acho, that's what it is. They won't pick him. He might have Deshaun Watson like 28th. I don't know. But I don't know what's going on with him. But I'm just saying, then you had all this situation that went down, obviously. And there's something serious. Something serious. You said Fuller was hurt? Yeah, I said Fuller was hurt. Yeah, that does happen a lot. But I'm just saying, with everything that kind of went down, it's a serious situation. There's a lot of women that allege that, that he was forcing his private area on them and that he was coercing them into oral sex and a lot of really drastic things. And we don't know and we'll never know the truth. I think one thing that's really interesting is that it's always presented as if the allegations come that they're already guilty. And I think that's a dangerous place to be in. This is 2022. I don't want to make it seem like there are certain people who will lie when it's for their benefit. But that doesn't mean, I definitely don't want that to mean and say that every person who is alleging a sexual assault or sexual harassment is lying. I think there's a counterbalance in that. And a lot of times it can be a slippery slope. It could be a slippery slope.
Yeah, especially because you don't want to just, especially when there's no, and that's the thing. And that's what I had to understand also. The fact of the matter is, it not being a criminal case doesn't really necessarily mean that nothing happened. Mm-hmm. It just simply means that they didn't see as evidence, as a reasonable amount of evidence to prove, or to even try to attempt to say that something criminal happened. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen, though.
Now, here's something that happened that I always felt like was really interesting and that always bothered me. And I don't want to say that I try to make sure I'm looking at this absolutely fair. But one thing that really bothered me was that Tony Busby, the prosecutor in the situation, the person that was a plaintiff, was sending out case after case after case after case. You blinked and there was 14. And then you blinked again and there was 18. And all you're hearing is that's Jane Doe. And of course, I'm not a lawyer, So I had to, I talked to my brother who's a lawyer, and he was like, the one thing that's really interesting is, of course, they're going to keep that stuff sealed because they don't, for public protection, which I understand. But the thing that was really interesting was that Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardman, made a statement saying, hey, you're making all these Jane Doe applications, but then you're not even sharing with the defense who it is. So how can the defense mount a defense if we're getting accused by who we don't even know? So what was literally happening is you're having all these accusations coming out, not really able to give a defense because you're not being told who the person is. You have to go to court for months just to get them to reveal to the defense who it is. Not talking about the public. It's not our business. We don't need to know. But the defense, to mount a defense, needs to know who it is. And if the defense can't know who it is, then what are they going to say? So basically you're getting allegations with no response. And now in the public side, it's definitely true. And now he's guilty before we even find out anything, before any scrutiny even comes up. And then once you start finding out stuff, you find out some of these people were people who've been trying to get hush money deals before all this went down. So it's just hard to say. It's very hard to say, but it's very much a nasty situation. It's an ugly situation. I hate that, Deshaun Watson put himself in these situations, whether he feels like that, whatever he felt like, even if he felt like things were consensual, to put himself in these sort of situations was not good. It was bad.
No, it wasn't.
And it just would turn out to be a bad situation. But at the end of the day, people say, well, should you have a moral code? I know there was somebody that worked for the Undefeated who was going on saying, should the NFL have a moral code about who they should and shouldn't allow in the league? I don't know how the NFL could have a moral code when you've got one owner who was having happy endings for himself and Robert Kraft. You got another owner who's getting sued for having babies out of wedlock and then making them sign NDAs to make sure nobody finds out about it. Then you have another lawyer paying people $100,000 to lose games. There's no ethics or morals. So to suddenly now look at Deshaun Watson and go, oh, we got to have a moral code, is like walking into a haunted house, one of those hoarded houses in the hoarder show, and then being like, man, the trash is full. We need to take it out. I'm like, do you not see yourself around? It's mess everywhere. So at the end of the day, it's going to be based on whether or not he can play. And it's going to be based on whether or not you can deal with public backlash. These teams that really need to win, I think they really need to go for it. But they really need to do their homework. And hopefully they've already been doing their homework. And they didn't wait till just now to find out about Deshaun Watson. They should have been going around asking about his character for this entire year. I know these teams have been doing their homework. Go ahead.
And let's be honest, we see the public, and the public a lot. Oftentimes the response is different to people of color. It's just a fact. I think about Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben had apparently had allegedly raped two women. One, and when how he did it, he had isolated the woman from their friend and had his security watching the door and keeping people from getting in to a bathroom. So, and he did this twice. He did it twice, and he paid them off. He didn't allow this to go. He didn't fight it like Deshaun and say, "Oh, nah," and say, "No, we're gonna let it go to this." But no, he paid the people off, and it went away. It just went away. So one minute, it was almost as if 1 minute they were talking about it, next minute they weren't talking about it anymore. Mm-hmm. You would hear a whisper of it here, a whisper of it there, but it really was not at the forefront. And then what happened? I think Big Ben might have gotten hurt or something, and Mike Vick came to town to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what happened? People outside protesting. But yet, y'all won't out here last a couple of weeks when Big Ben was playing. You won't out here protesting. Like, I just think, and you talk about women compared to dogs now. So what's the issue? So what's going on? What's going on now?
Can we get? It's 10:14. Can we get a little messy here? You have people who will vote for somebody to be president who was accused by multiple women of harassment and assault, but then want to suddenly have a moral code about who's going to play quarterback. So in other words, if you've been accused of, assault or harassment, you can't be a quarterback, but you can still run for president because those people will still vote for you. That makes no sense to me. So Yeah, I absolutely am going for Deshaun Watson. I understand the situation's a mess. Do your homework and make sure he's the right fit, but absolutely go for him. Even Cleveland, I think Cleveland would be crazy to not go for. We will not do any Baker Mayfield slander here. We will not do any Oklahoma. Yeah, no slander.
Oh, it's
But
not
yeah,
slander.
if I'm the GM, I'm going for Deshaun Watson too. Absolutely. Why would I not try to get a top 3 quarterback in football? That makes absolutely no sense. You kidding me? Absolutely, I'm going for Deshaun Watson. Are you kidding me? Baker Mayfield. I love me some Baker Mayfield. Favorite OU quarterback of all time. But if I got a chance to get Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna go get Deshaun Watson. Absolutely. Makes no sense. Any other words, Trenton?
That's it.
All right, let's do some fair or foul and then get up out of here. We're going to first start up, and I want to make sure everyone's aware one more time. We thank each and every one of you for being a part of what we do here on the OT Sports Show. And once again, you take the opportunity to like, comment, share, whether you're watching this now or you're watching this later. We just want to grow our channel. We just want to continue to really share basically our conversations. This is me and Trenton will talk like this on the phone all the time. So this is just an opportunity for you to see what we do. Make sure, like I said, become a part of our $100 giveaway for the brackets. Whoever has the best bracket, top bracket, is going to win $100. So you can fill up to 3. All you got to do is like and subscribe and then follow us. And we're going to tell you, we're going to see who ends up having the best bracket. My goal next year is that we do the same prize for the men and the women. And I didn't think about it till the end of the days, but that's what we're going to do. But for now, it's going to be the men's one. Next year, we're going to do the men and the women. We'll have that giveaway for that. So once again, like and subscribe. Now it's time for fair or foul. We're going to go ahead and hit the home stretch here. We've got referee. Ladies and gentlemen, we got those refs from the Super Bowl who obviously don't see anything. So let's go ahead and get started with our first fair foul. We're going to go ahead and start with Devante Adams. As we all know, Kirk, I think it was Christian Kirk, got like a $23 million per year contract, which made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I think it was 21.
$21 million.
4 year, $84 million.
He's never had 1,000 yards in the season, ever. But you're paying him. This is why Jacksonville just is what they is. I'm praying for Deshaun. Because I don't understand what the Jaguars are doing. I know that's not our topic, but I just really don't understand. But this is exactly
why. He has had 1,000 yards in Madden, though.
In Madden. I think that's what the GM was doing. Keep in mind, this is the same GM that they basically agreed to let Byron Leftwich be their coach. And Byron Leftwich said, I ain't being the coach if that guy's the GM. And now you see why, with him paying $21 million to Kurt. That's exactly why he should not be the GM. So
hey, I ain't against the man getting his money either, though. But
no. Well, no.
Even he know.
This is a business.
He signed the contract. Like, are y'all sure? Y'all playing with me?
This is a business. This is good for him. I appreciate that, but I'm gonna keep on to it. I'm just like, thank you, Terrence. Say that again. You don't build contending teams. Did nobody learn from the Washington Redskins /football team /commander /commando Joes or whatever they are? Nobody learned
what about
anything.
The Rams, though? You say that, but that's how the Rams won.
No, the Rams won by getting a better quarterback. That's how they won. Getting rid of Jared Goff. You plug holes, and Jared Goff was a massive hole, and they just plugged that in. That's how they won. But that's true about the Rams. But I'm telling you, you mostly build through the draft. But I tell you this, you don't win by giving $21 million to wide receivers that are not elite. But with that being said, because that wasn't our topic, Devante Adams basically is now saying, you see Aaron Rodgers getting paid, you see Christian Kirk getting paid, and now he wants to get paid. Oh, yeah. But the Packers basically put him under the franchise tag. Now, he's letting them know he's not going to play under the franchise tag. Go ahead.
I wouldn't play Madden in Wisconsin. But get played in the NFL or NFL down. I wouldn't play Madden in Wisconsin.
So fair or foul, Devante Adams should not play under the franchise tag. Trent, you say fair, I guess.
Fair. Extremely fair. Yeah, man. He's done so much over the, I mean, come on. He's the only one they got. He's the only consistent. He's their second best player. And they're not paying him. He is literally their second best player, if not their best player. But they're not gonna pay him. No, you're not. And you gonna give that boy? You gonna give the you gonna give Rodgers that big contract? We're gonna tell Rodgers to go out there and catch it himself. Let him catch it himself, and let's see how far that gets y'all.
Oh, I would like that, Terrence. I would like for Devante Adams to become a Raider. That'd be very nice. I think you guys could use another wide receiver to replace Ruggs. So I'm down with that. I'm with you. There's no way I would be. I don't want to say I'd be disappointed in him if he played with the tag, but I really do believe these players have to realize this is a business, and your services are your business. Yeah. And I think it would be. I would be very nervous for Devante Adams to play under the franchise tag, knowing good and well one cut can cost you millions of dollars. He has earned his spot as being the best wide receiver over the last few years in football. I understand that Cooper Kupp had that amazing year, obviously, and one of the best years in the history of the NFL. We can't take nothing away from that. Over the last few years, the best wide receiver has been Devante Adams, and he needs to be paid like it. No, they should not. He should not allow himself to be lowballed. People say, well, what about Le'Veon Bell? Le'Veon Bell was a running back. Wide receivers are different. So the position is not the same in that regard.
He's also been around longer than Le'Veon Bell. He's also been at the top of the league longer than Le'Veon Bell was at the time. This is this is not even a question. Like,
and then you talk about, and then what about I was gonna say, what about Javon? I want to say with Javon Walker, who was a wide receiver, played under the franchise tag, and then he tore his ACL. You do not want to be in that type of situation. Yeah, absolutely. You play. Let me tell you,
the team is gonna do what's best for the team, but not with. That's why, and like you said, these players got to do what's best for them. And they're gonna try because the team's gonna try to get what they can from you. Period. Because it's best for them.
And can I take an opportunity? This is not a let me rant, but can I just take an opportunity to educate the unskilled, ununderstanding person on Twitter with 17 different numbers in their name that thinks that Devante Adams is forced to play for the Packers due to the CBA? Let me let you understand that the collective bargaining agreement, the way it is spelled out, if you're getting franchise tagged, that means you have fully played out your contract. That means you are not obligated to play under the franchise tag. You choose to sign to play for the franchise tag. Devante Adams is totally within his rights to choose not to sign to play under the franchise tag. So to say that the CBA is the reason why Devante Adams should play and it's the fault of the CBA and the union should fight for a better deal shows you're arguing about the CBA not even knowing what it is, which is most of what Twitter does. So please, I'm sure you would gladly play for $20 million, Mr. Person who has a replaceable skill set that's not that important. But somebody who is the best wide receiver in the world should be paid like it. And the Packers, if they have enough money to do so, they need to do it. And if they don't have enough money to do it, they need to cut some people and find a way to do it because this is a business and Devante Adams needs to do what's best for business. Or send him to the Raiders so Terrence can be happy.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, so let's go to the next topic. And this was something that was requested. This is probably something just to trigger Trenton. Obviously, we know that Carson Wentz was traded to the Commanders. And then we have Kirk Cousins. The question we were brought up, fair or foul, Carson Wentz will have a better season than Kirk Cousins. This was a fan requested. So I do want to make sure I'm honoring that.
The better question is he going to play a whole season?
That's a good question.
Is he going to be available for an entire season? Is a better question.
So what do you think? Fair or foul, Carson Wentz is going to have a better season than Kirk Cousins? Go ahead.
Personal foul on the questioner. 15-yard penalty. Still first down. Look, if you look at it, I'm just saying look at it. Look at the stats. I mean, I will, but you know what? I'm a fan, but I'm also a realist. So I understand there is context. So for example, Kurt threw for a lot more yards, threw for more yards than Carson did this past season. But I also understand that Indy was a heavy run game team. I understand he had that beast in the back, so he was feeding them, right? But we had a beast of our own who had a good amount of touches. And if you really look at the touches aren't that much different. So even with that, Carson Wentz had 3,563 yards. Meanwhile, Cousins threw for 4,221 yards, 33 touchdowns and 7 picks. Carson Wentz had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. I don't think it's really a comparison. If you really look at even down through the years, it's just. And I just did 6 years because that's how long your boy's been here and actually been able to play. It's just not. I don't think it's a fair comparison. And then I think about this: Carson's going to a new team. I know Wentz. Excuse me, not Wentz, but Cousins has a new coach and might be a new system, but at least he's familiar with the talent around him. At least he has players that he knows. Carson Wentz is going for his third team in 3 years, right? Yeah, this is his third team in 3 years, where he's going to have a whole new set of people to play with. The ideal of him having a better season than Kirk is ridiculous, and I think I know who asked this question. It's one of two people probably, but it's okay. I still love you.
I'm gonna say it like this. I know who has the best season, and that's Kirk Cousins' agent. Because I don't know what bondage he has, what blackmail he has that he is getting all this money. This man will be paid almost $300 million in his career and has done nothing and has accomplished nothing. Now, he plays okay. He plays decent. He's not the reason why teams lose. If you look at his numbers, we had his numbers last week. His numbers are not bad numbers.
Yeah.
But,
but did I even look at this? I really feel like, I think Carson Wentz, I think he got an unfair amount of the blame for the loss in Indy. For the same reason why I think it's kind of unfair to look at Carr in a positive light and not look at Wentz in a positive light. Because I feel like they both had similar situations because they both lack receivers when it comes down to it. I mean, who are the receivers in Indy? Who are the receivers in Indianapolis right now?
Jonathan Taylor.
I don't think he really has a true
Jonathan Taylor. That's his receiver, Jonathan Taylor.
I think the running game is good, but in the playoffs, when he had to make the plays,
T.Y. Hilton still playing?
That's what. Exactly. His old self. He's running down the field with a cane and a cast.
I think he's trying to have his son play like LeBron, like Bron. He's trying to make the same thing. Yeah.
And I just don't think he really had a fair. When you look at Carr lost his what would have been the guy that stretches the field for him. But so in the end, that I really think that's why the Raiders lost when they lost was because it was just what was it, like 4th down on the and they just needed to make a play. He didn't have nobody. He just didn't have a receiver that could really go out there and do what he needed to do. Yeah, and I just think I did the same thing for Indy. He didn't, and I think it's unfair when you don't give a person the weapons and you expect him to do what's necessary. I think he wouldn't have mind having a healthy Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks out there. He'd have been better off.
Okay.
He'd have been better off.
Well, let's see what Wentz does this year. Now, let's see what Wentz does this year. Now, he does have Terry McLaurin this year.
Yeah, now
we're gonna see. He's got a legit receiver.
But then he's not familiar with the guy. That's the thing, and that's really all he got.
TD Barrett calls him Kyle calls him Scary Terry. So we're gonna see how it goes. And I had to wince every time you talk about Wentz because I be wincing whenever he plays because that's how bad he be playing. I'd be like, I don't know. But
and look, he wasn't that bad. Another thing is he wasn't that bad, yo. He went 27-7. That's
No, he
not
wasn't.
bad.
He wasn't.
You know?
But I mean, he's just fun to make fun of. All right, let's go to the next one. We got 2 more topics. I got about 10 more minutes before we're going to be out. Let's talk about uh, Nikolai Jokic. And we
Who?
saw him. He played Joel Embiid last, I think, a couple of nights ago. And we see the way he's playing. Fair or foul, Jokic is a top 3 player in the NBA today. Fair or
Okay.
foul?
Okay. Look, this is what I'm gonna say. Part of me, I'm having to. Okay,
Come on, Trent.
I
Let's go
looked
with it.
at
Let's go, Trenton.
what you, uh,
Let's go with
what
the
you
skirt
told me.
predictions. Go ahead.
What you told me to do is you told me. I still remember what you told me. You said that when you look at his stats, you're gonna agree. And I ain't gonna lie, you were right. I looked at the stats. Yo, the Joker is, he's great. He's great. You talk about 26 points a game, 13.8 rebounds, and as a big man now, 8.1 assists per game. Look at that. All top 10. All top 10. I just think the boy is I think he's not the attractive pick. He's not flashy. He's really Tim Duncan. Like, he's the big fundamental. He don't have that pretty game. He's not up dunking on people. He's not flying. He's not a high flyer. He got a body like a plumber. Well, slightly better than a plumber, and a plumber that's trying to watch his weight, but he's still a plumber. And it's just, I just don't think he's gonna get the respect that he has. And he's European.
I think that's a huge factor. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that goes a lot into why people aren't respecting him the way he should be played. When he won MVP, and then Nick Wright said he's the worst MVP in the last 40 years. I mean, I was like, wow. And then, you look at what he's doing now, top 10 again, points, rebounds, assists. I compared him to Embiid because I think it's pretty close. Now, I want to say this. I think, we're so used to times when you have one super dominant player, like Jordan. When Jordan's in the league, we knew he was the best. You had the 2010s with LeBron. You knew he was the best in the league. But right now, there isn't a surefire, he's the best guy in the league. I think Greek Freak deserves to be called the best player in basketball. But honestly, the gap between 1 and 6 is not that much. You're talking, Greek Freak, you're talking Embiid, you're talking Durant, you're talking Jokic, you're talking Steph, you're talking LeBron. It's very close. Yeah. So if you told me that I don't think he's third, I think Jokic is fifth, I wouldn't fight you on that. I'd be like, oh, okay. Because I don't think the gap between 2 and 5 is that big. I really don't. Like Hughes and Embiid. If somebody told me they felt like Embiid was better, would I fight on that much? You look how close those numbers are. Embiid's leading the league in scoring as a center. Look as good Philly's doing. Top 10 again in rebounds. Better blocking than Jokic. Not as many assists. Jokic obviously is top 10 in assists. So again, it's going to be based on what you're looking for. Embiid is more of the flashy player, and then Jokic is more of the finesse player. But they're both extremely effective. They're both extremely good. The only reason I say yes and I have Jokic ahead of Embiid is because of injury history. Joel Embiid has a greater injury history. That's the only thing I'm really taking into account. Beyond that, it's really close. It really is. But my top 3 right now in the NBA is Greek Freak, Durant, Jokic. And then I go Embiid and Steph. That's probably how my top 5 goes. But like I said, the gap between really 1 and 5 is not that big. And it can move around very fluidly because there's not one super dominant player. What do you think?
I agree. Matter of fact, I think it even goes deeper than just 5. I think you can say 6 and 7, possibly. Definitely 6. I'm thinking LeBron would be up there at some point.
Yeah, LeBron's right there too.
His number stacks up just with them, right over there. So
yeah, even though he's playing no defense at all right now, but he's in his 19th. He's in his 18th, 19th, 46th year.
That man wrong.
Yeah. So but one person we did not bring up, and we're talking about best players, and maybe after last night we should. Kyrie Irving. I want you to talk about basically how he played. We saw him last night. He could have legitimately scored 100 points last night if he wanted to. He could have scored 100 points. That's how the game was going. It was crazy. And so we saw him, and he was going wild.
If he only played the Magic every game, wasn't it the Magic?
Yeah, it was the Magic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he had 50 a couple days ago. He had 60 last night. Could have easily gotten 70 if they really wanted to. Kyrie Irving, such a complex legacy. One of the best scorers the league has ever seen, but so much other stuff.
Yeah.
So my question, fair foul, does Kyrie Irving deserve a max contract next year? He's going to be a free agent. So if you had a team, Kyrie Irving, you giving him a max contract next year, Trent?
If he can play, if he's able to play, and if my city don't have no type of ordinance where they not allowing unvaccinated people to play, I don't see why not. I mean, but you know what though? He has an injury history too. That's the thing. So that's why I would be hesitant. But my hesitance has nothing to do with his skill level at all, and nothing even really to do with character or anything like that. Because I think he's all right. I mean, yeah, he's different. I don't agree with everything he's saying, but I don't think he's malicious, nor do I think he's done anything that's like detrimental. You know what I mean? It's just, he's himself. He's himself. He's his own man, and I ain't mad at that. But he does get hurt, and that would be my hesitance in wanting to pay him the big money. And the more I think about it, the more hesitant I'm thinking I would be. But if I needed him and I felt like he was the missing piece, oh yeah, like if New Jersey, for the Nets, if they drop that crap and he's able to play which I think is going to happen eventually before the playoffs come around. But if he's healthy, not healthy, but if he's able, if they drop that ordinance, the rule, whatever, oh yeah, I think he's worth that to them.
It's really difficult because, like I said, this is a sports show. I don't want to get too messy, but you got to think about what state that is. That is the Brooklyn, right in that area, New York. That's a state where if COVID flares up, it can flare up very quickly.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And so that means mandates can come again very quickly. And so you're really taking that type of risk to pay him that big money in a state that could very easily put a mandate right back on if things were going to happen. So I don't know. And then on top of that, even before all this stuff was happening, there was times when Kyrie would just be like, I'm just going to stay. Remember that Kyrie, there's one time he just went away. He just went away. Didn't tell his coaches or nothing. He just left. We didn't know when and if he was going to come back.
You know what? I actually forgot about that part.
Yeah. So it's
I forgot about that. And he seen at birthday party.
When a birthday party, all this stuff, he just left.
Yeah, he's at the club with his mom and with his dad and sister or something. Yeah.
He went away. Then you gotta, I know he's someone that's very passionate, and like I said, I agree with you. I don't think there's anything malicious. It's just the way he's wired. He's the type of person that will just stop playing and just not tell you anything. And it's like that is scary to invest that type of money in that type of player. Yeah. Especially if you're trying to win a championship.
That's a very good way to put it.
Because you don't know.
I'd rather spend that max contract. I'd rather spend that max contract on somebody else.
You don't know what happens if you're in the middle of a playoff run and then, God forbid, something happens, high profile police shooting happens and Kyrie Irving says, I'm just going to protest and stop playing. Like in the middle of the playoffs. Like that could legitimately happen with him just because of the way he's wired. And your whole season could end based off a whim. That's a very, but again, as a player, Kyrie Irving, just the way he puts the ball, I think I would say this, maybe this is kind of a crazy thing. I think he's a better, let's make some controversy. I think he is a better scorer than even Kevin Durant is. Like that sort of level. I'm not talking about shooter. I think he's a better scorer. I don't know if there is a better scorer in the league, just pure scorer when they're on, like Kyrie. And he's always been like that.
I don't know, bro. Kevin Durant's 6'10", bro.
I know. I'm not. I'm just talking about. Yeah, he obviously doesn't have the 6'10". He's not 6'10" like Durant is, and that's always going to give him an advantage. But I'm talking about just the ability to, when Kyrie is on, man.
I don't
I'm
know, bro.
telling you.
I don't know.
I'm telling you. How many
7
60-point games
wing,
is how
7
many
foot
how many
wingspan.
how
I
many
don't know.
60-point games does Durant have?
Oh, that's a good point. I
0.
don't know.
And Kyrie could have got 70 if he wanted to. I mean,
Yeah.
we know about Durant's ability, and I know way trying to sleep on Durant's ability, but I'm telling you, the way Kyrie can go, and at 6'2", we ain't never seen nothing like it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as his head, where his head is, he's gonna have a 30 for 30 about him. It's gonna be very, very interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. So I don't think I would do it, but it would be very scary. But Trent, other than that, man, big loaded show. I know it's about 10:40. We've got an hour 20. Do you have any other things that's on your mind before we get to this? Before we start this March Madness, basically.
I'm doubling down on Iowa. I'm letting you know. I'm doubling down. I know y'all don't like it. I know you. I love Miss Staley. She was a Charlotte Sting. Rest in peace to the Charlotte Stings. But but yo, I'm telling you, Caitlin Clark is the real deal.
Watch them lose in the first weekend. I'm gonna come back on troll you next episode. I'm gonna troll you bad next episode. They turn on lose next weekend.
I'm not coming back on the show.
No, you gonna come on this show. I'm gonna find you. Gonna come on this show. They're gonna turn around and lose in the first week. I'm just playing with you. So, all right, we thank you all so much for being a part of the OT Sports Show one more time. Again, this has been real fun. Like I said, like, subscribe, share. We're just trying to grow the channel. This is our March Madness episode. This is going to be prepared for a real fun time over the next couple of weeks. So once again, thank you guys so much for being a part.
It's going to be madness.
It's going to be absolute madness. So you guys are going to see us on next week. Until next time, thank you all so much for being a part. Have a good day.